What's the word, YouTube? Asa's coming at you with some more UFC content, which is not normal, but we're gonna act like it's normal for the sake of this video. Today we're gonna be discussing Renato Moicano. The reason I want to talk about Renato Moicano is because there's a lot of, I feel as though I'm a part of the problem, chat. Like I really do, chat. I feel like I'm a part of the problem. I feel like I'm the reason. Like I'm one of the people who has known this name for years and never cared. And you know what? I'd be lying if I said that after his win over Benoit Saint Denis, I care. I still don't care. I'm just being honest. But what I can say is that he's on the radar now. Like he's on my radar, which doesn't matter. Who the hell am I? But I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way. Not because he beat Benoit Saint Denis. Honestly, when he beat Jalen Turner is when I was kind of like, huh. But the fact that he's been in the UFC for 10 years, him beating Jalen Turner shouldn't even have been such a, crazy moment. But I really want to discuss him also because of the people he's called out. Dan Hooker and Paddy Pimblett. Holy shit. Listen to me, man. I think those are great fights. I think he did the perfect thing because he could have called for Islam Makhachev. Let me go ahead and show you guys the lightweight rankings. So we got Islam ranked, he's the champion. Armin ranked number 1. Charles Oliveira 2. Justin Gaethje 3. Poirier 4. Dan Hooker's 5. Here's the thing, right? I don't think he gets past anyone in the top 4. So Dan Hooker was the perfect call out. Paddy Pimblett, I would like to say that I think Paddy Pimblett would be an easy win for him. In the past, I would have said something along those lines. But it seems as though Paddy is taking his career a lot more serious than he ever did. Where's Paddy ranked? Is he ranked? Damn, he's 15th. Sheesh. Anyway, oh, God, I didn't know he was doing that to him. But if we take a look at Renato's resume, Benoit Saint Denis, Jalen Turner, Drew Dober, these are all solid wins, but none of these are top guys. Like is Jalen right over Paddy? Them two should fight, if anything. If we're being honest, I don't know if they fought before. If they did, let me know. I don't think so though. I would have known if they fought. They did not fight. But yeah, Jalen Turner and Paddy should be the next fight. I don't want to see Renato versus Paddy for the simple fact that I still feel like Paddy is up and coming. Like I haven't seen enough from him. Beating Bobby Green the way he did was smooth. It was clean. But once again, that's Bobby Green. You said or King Green. My apologies. So we have to keep in mind that these guys aren't beating top level opponents. But Renato calling out Dan Hooker is perfect. Because that'll break him into the top 5, or at least it should. I don't think he should get. I don't think that should be a number 1 contenders fight though. Just being honest, because we got Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler 2. That's a number 1 contenders fight. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like that's way more deserving, and I also feel like Renato is not beating Charles. Charles Oliveira or Michael Chandler. I feel like him versus Michael Chandler would be a way better fight than him versus Oliveira, but I don't think he's beating any of these guys. It's also funny, Dan Hooker is ranked above Michael Chandler despite Michael Chandler knocking him out. But of course, we know Michael has been waiting for Conor McGregor for the past 17 years, so it all makes sense. But I honestly think this is the perfect fight. I want to see Dan Hooker versus Renato Moicano. Because Daniel, bro, I made a video a couple years back on the downfall of Dan Hooker, and now he's all tatted up and you know what I'm saying? Like he's ginger blonde now, and he's just out of it. It seems like he's on a bit of a redemption arc, which I like to see. We love to see guys like that. I like Dan Hooker, bro. I really do. And it was hard to watch him just back to back get abused. After that Dustin Poirier fight, he didn't look like himself. But one thing we know is he's tough. Benoit Saint Denis, it's just I don't want to come off like I'm talking shit, but for as long as I've seen him fight, for as long as I've seen him in the UFC, I've never noticed anything that makes me say like, bro, this guy can one day be a champ. Other people have. I've heard people make the argument, but for me, all my times watching him, like against Dustin, I'm like, I'm not saying Dustin's just gonna stomp on him, you feel me? But I'm pretty sure Dustin's gonna finish him. He might have some resistance. I don't think it's just gonna be one-sided the entire fight, but I bet that he was gonna get finished, and 100% did get finished. And that's because Dustin is missing a step. You can see that Dustin has taken a step back. He's not as good as he once was, which makes sense. He's older now, he's still up there, but Dustin's chances of winning a title, for example, is gone. Whereas when he fought Charles Oliveira, I completely thought that I thought that was gonna be his chance. I genuinely had my money on Dustin. Then he got knocked out by Gaethje, and it's like, all right, bro, kind of cooked now. But if Moicano were to beat Dan Hooker, let's say, or whoever were to win that fight, I think they should fight. Because where does Dustin fit into all of this? Personally, from what I'm looking at, Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. If that's not a #1 contenders fight, then whoever wins between Dan Hooker and Renato should fight the winner of that. And then that should be the #1 contender fight. You get what I'm saying? So let's say Charles beats Michael Chandler again and Renato finishes Dan Hooker. Then it should be Charles versus Renato and so on and so forth. That's what I would like to see for the lightweight division, just to make it interesting. You know, I really don't want to see Charles versus Islam again. Personally, that's why I want it to be like, I want more options to be there. I don't want it to be guaranteed. Because Michael Chandler was doing his thing the first time he fought Charles Oliveira. It's not like it was just a one-sided beatdown. You know, Michael Chandler just gets crazy. I personally thought Chandler could have won that. You know, I had my money on him, but in true Chandler fashion, he got finished. So, my opinion, I think that's the next best move, the absolute best move for Renato Moicano. Give that man Dan Hooker. Give him a chance to prove that he belongs in the top 5. I'm not saying he does. To be frank, I don't know, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't really care either. I don't think he's gonna be a champion, so it's not like it's something where I'm like, you know, like I'm fucking itching to watch it happen. But you know, let's make this exciting. I think Armin's out for a year, which sucks. I love Armin Sarukian, and I think that a rematch between him and Islam would have been fire, but he's not in the equation right now. So give my boy Renato that Dan Hooker fight and let them battle it out, man. Because that also gives Dan Hooker a chance to get back into the rankings. You see how it's just a win-win for everybody in that situation? Dan Hooker wins, not in the rankings, but in the title picture. Like, he can get back into that #1 contender space where he's potentially fighting for a title again. And if he loses, Renato gets his opportunity after 10 years in the UFC. Either way, it's a great storyline for that #1 contender spot. But I just don't think the winner of his next fight should get the #1 contender shot, because he's not fighting none of these guys. You know, he's not fighting a Justin Gaethje. He's not fighting a Charles Oliveira. He's not fighting a Dustin Poirier for it to be like, okay, if you beat this guy, that's it. If his options are Pimblett or Dan Hooker, give him Dan Hooker, and then winner of that versus the winner of Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. Although I'm pretty sure they did say that was already a #1 contenders fight. This is just my opinion. It's my channel. I can say whatever the hell I want, and that's what I would like to see happen. Feel free to comment down and feel free to leave a comment on what you think should happen next for Renato Moicano and where you think his career should go, and if you think that he has the potential to be a champion. That being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed the YouTube video. Audi 5000.